Have you ever pondered over the power of your story and its significance in shaping your life? Each of us carries within us a unique narrative, a tapestry woven from our experiences, triumphs and failures. These stories aren't just sequences of events, they are the essence of who we are, the cornerstone of our identities. They shape our perspectives and influence our decisions, pushing us forward on the path of life. Consider this. Our personal stories dictate the way we interact with the world around us. They mold our perceptions, our beliefs and our values. They are the invisible hands shaping our destiny. Embracing these narratives can lead to a profound understanding of ourselves, a sense of self-acceptance and an unshakable self-awareness. Picture a successful entrepreneur. Before they reached the pinnacle of success, they faced multiple rejections. They were told their ideas were too radical, too ambitious, or simply not good enough. But they didn't let these rejections define them. Instead, they owned their story. Each rejection became a part of their narrative, a stepping stone on their journey to success. Owning their story didn't mean they were immune to the sting of rejection. It meant they accepted it as a part of their journey. Each rejection, each failure became a lesson, an opportunity to learn and grow. They understood that their story wasn't about the number of times they fell, but about the resilience and determination they gained each time they rose. This is the pivotal role our personal stories play in our lives. They can either be a roadblock, halting our progress, or they can be our motivation, propelling us towards our goals. The choice is ours. We can either run from our stories or we can embrace them, learn from them, and use them as stepping stones on our journey to success. Remember, it's not about the number of times you fall, but about the strength you gain each time you rise. That's the power of your story. But what happens when we choose to run away from our stories instead of embracing them? Imagine a man named John. John had a challenging childhood marked by instances of hardship and pain. He grew up in a world where vulnerability was seen as a weakness, so he decided to suppress his past, to bury it deep within him. He wore a mask of pretentious happiness, pretending that his past had no bearing on who he was. But there was a problem. John was running from his story, and in doing so he was running from himself. He was denying the very experiences that shaped him, that made him unique. He was rejecting his truth, and it was costing him dearly. His emotional well-being started to crumble, and he found himself in a constant state of unrest. You see, our past experiences, our stories, they are a part of us. They shape us, mold us into the person we are today. When we deny them, we deny a part of ourselves. We create a void within us, a void that can't be filled with pretentious smiles or artificial happiness. John found himself at a crossroads. He could continue running, continue denying his past, and continue living a life of unrest. Or he could stop, turn around and face his past. He chose the latter. He chose to embrace his story, to acknowledge his past, and in doing so he found peace. He found acceptance. Accepting his past didn't change what happened, but it changed John. It allowed him to heal, to grow, to move on. It allowed him to remove the mask of pretentious happiness and replace it with genuine joy. A joy that comes from accepting oneself completely and utterly. Running from your story is like running from your shadow. It's always there, trailing behind. Embrace it and you'll find the sunlight of growth. So how does one begin this journey of acceptance and owning their story? It may seem like a mountain to climb, but the first step is often the hardest, and every step that follows becomes a bit easier. Let's consider an example, a friend of mine. Let's call him John. John had a story he was running from, a story he was afraid to face. He started by acknowledging that he had a story to tell, to himself first and foremost. He took a deep breath, looked in the mirror and said, "I have a story, and it's mine to tell." Next, John started to put his story into words. He picked up a journal and began to write. He wrote about his past, his present, and his hopes for the future. He wrote about his fears, his dreams, his failures, and his triumphs. With every word, he took ownership of his narrative. He was no longer running from his story, he was shaping it. But John didn't do it alone. He sought professional help. He found a therapist, a neutral party who could provide insight, guidance, and tools to help him understand his story better. This professional helped John to see his story from different perspectives, to find the lessons in his experiences, and to use those lessons to grow and move forward. John also found strength in sharing his story. He started small with trusted friends and family. Then he began to share more widely. Each time he shared, he found that he was not alone. His story resonated with others, and in turn, their stories helped him to see that we all have our own unique narratives. And that's what makes us who we are. So if you're wondering how to start your journey of acceptance, consider John's approach. Acknowledge your story, write it down, seek professional help, and when you're ready, share it. The journey of acceptance is a path paved with courage, honesty, and a deep understanding of oneself. It's a journey worth embarking on. Now that we understand the significance of owning our story, what impact does it have on our lives? Owning our story, embracing our past and accepting our journey, these actions have a profound impact on our lives, often in ways we could never have anticipated. When we take charge of our narrative, we're not just accepting who we are, we're celebrating our individuality. One of the most immediate and noticeable effects of owning our story is the surge of self-confidence it brings. When we stop hiding from our past and start acknowledging it as an integral part of our journey, we begin to understand that our experiences have shaped us, molded us, and made us stronger. This realization fuels a newfound self-confidence that radiates from within, empowering us to face any challenges that lie ahead with an unshakable belief in ourselves. Moreover, owning our story has a significant positive impact on our mental health. When we run from our past, we're essentially running from ourselves, which can lead to feelings of self-doubt, anxiety, and depression. However, when we embrace our story, we're acknowledging our worthiness, our strength, and our resilience, which in turn promotes a healthier mental state. A stronger sense of self is another remarkable outcome of owning our story. Our past, our experiences, our trials and tribulations, they all contribute to our identity. When we own our story, we're owning our identity fully and unapologetically. To illustrate this, consider the story of renowned author J.K. Rowling. Before she found fame with the Harry Potter series, Rowling faced numerous hardships, including poverty and depression. However, she didn't shy away from her past. Instead, she used it as a source of strength, channeling her experiences into her writing and inspiring millions around the globe with her resilience and tenacity. Owning your story isn't just about self-growth. It's about inspiring others with your resilience, your courage, and your journey. It's about turning your narrative into a beacon of hope and inspiration. We started with a question about the power of our story, and we've embarked on quite a journey of discovery, haven't we? From the inception, we've delved into the depths of the power that resides within our stories, the narratives that we carry within us. We've realized that our stories are not simply tales to be told, they are the pillars that hold up our identities, the threads that weave the tapestry of our existence. We've also explored the unsettling tendency to run from our stories. We've confronted the fear, the shame, the reluctance to face our own realities. We've acknowledged that it can be easier to hide, to pretend, to live a life shrouded in the comfort of denial. But we've equally recognized the heavy toll it takes on our mental health, our personal growth, and our ability to connect with others. Our journey has then led us to the path of acceptance, that winding road of coming to terms with our stories, of learning to view them not as burdens, but as badges of honor. We've discovered that in accepting our stories, we accept ourselves. We begin to see our strengths, our resilience, our capacity to overcome. We initiate the process of healing, of growth, of transformation. And finally, we've seen the profound impact of owning our stories. We've learnt that when we embrace our narratives, we become a beacon of inspiration for others. We demonstrate that it's okay to be imperfect, that it's okay to struggle, and that it's okay to be human. We show the world that every story matters, that every voice deserves to be heard. Your story has power. It's time to stop running, start embracing, and begin the journey of owning your story. Remember, the world needs your story, so own it, embrace it, and let it shine.